Hi everyone, so today in this video we'll do multi-threading programs. First of all, we'll see definition and then what programs we'll do. So first of all, what is a thread? A thread can be defined as the flow of execution via the process code. And in thread switching, there is no requirement to interact with the operating system. Use of threads provides concurrency within a process and efficient communication. It is more economical to create and context switch threads. Threads allow utilization of multiprocessor architectures to a greater scale and efficiency. So let us see what programs we will do. We will write source code of 7 programs. First, p1.java, get reference of main thread in program and changing its name. Then how to create multiple threads using the thread class. Then how to create multiple threads by implementing Runnable. Then a program to solve a producer-consumer problem in which a producer produces a value and consumer consumes the value before producer generate the next value using thread synchronization, wait and notify. Write a program in which thread sleep for 1 second in a loop and prints the numbers in reverse order, that is from 100 to 1, and change the name of the thread. p6.java, program to define multiple threads for printing text on output screen for n number of times. p7.java, calculate the sum and average of an array of 1000 integers generated randomly using 10 threads. Each thread contains the sum of 100 integers. And we will write this code in Notepad only, and we will run this in command prompt. So let us go. I have already made the .java files, p1.java, p2.java, and I have also opened the command prompt, and by changing directory, that is cd, I have opened this folder, that is coding and then Java programs, so that I can directly compile from here. So let us write our first program, p1.java, get reference of main thread in program and changing its name. So class p1, and then we'll start the curly braces, and then we will write public static void main. So here public static void main, and then string args, string args. Now I will write thread t1 equals to thread space current thread, so that I can access the main thread, that is I'll print the details. So thread t1 equals to thread current thread method, so current thread t capital, so function close, and then system dot out dot println, and then current thread equals to plus t1, so that it will print my name of the thread, its priority, and what group of thread it belongs to. So it is just main thread, so it's gonna be printing main, and then by default priority is 5 and 10 for high and 0 for low. So system dot out dot println, now I have to print current thread equals to, so current thread equals to plus t1, because I have made that thread t1 above. Now I have changed the name of the thread, so t1 dot set name, let us write it as subscribe for p1, means if you haven't subscribed my channel, then subscribe it right now. So set name subscribe for p1, the same line again, so that I can see the name is changed or not. So set name close, and then system dot out dot println once again, so that I'll be able to see the changes that had been made by the set name method. So let us run this now. Control S, save, and now open this command prompt. Java C for Java compilation of p1.java, so Java C p1.java. Okay, public static void main. Here S had been capital, I have to make it small, and then thread dot current thread. and then statics s have to be small. So let us compile this now. Okay, so let us get the output. So here p1.class has been made over here. Whenever we compile the Java program, a class file is made. So I just have to write Java and program name, and then output will be shown. So current thread is main 5 priority and of main thread group. After we use the setName method, its name has been subscribed for p1, and then same priority of 5, and then of the same thread group of main. So let us run the second program now, that is p2.java. So how to create multiple threads using the thread class. So first of all, I will make or create a new class that extends thread class using the following methods. That is, I will have start, and for start I have to first of all make run method in try, and in catch I have to pass an exception, and when the start is called, the run method will be processed. So class sub to thread, and then extends thread. Threads t should be capital, so thread, and then I will make a constructor inside it, and then go for the super makes, or we can say, when super is passed with a string as in parameter, then an explicit superclass constructor called, and all Java constructor must call one or another constructor from their superclasses. By default, the non-arguments constructor is invoked, but in this way you can explicitly specify which superclass constructor to invoke. So super subscribe to thread, then I will print the details of the child thread. So system.out.println, and let us print a child thread as in the output, and plus this, so that this keyword refers to the current object in a method or a constructor, so it will be printing its own details of the child only. So child thread colon double quotes plus this. Okay, and then I will start this thread, so I will call start method start. So we have made start, so we have to make run, and in that we have to specify the try and catch. So public void run, and then we have to make try first of all. So let us make it try for I equals to 1, I equals to 1, I less than 5, less than equal to 5, and then I plus plus, so that this statement will be printed 5 times. And then in this we can print like system.out.println child thread, and then the number of I. So system.out.println and child thread plus I. So println child thread, which will be in loop and will be printed 5 times. Child thread plus I, and then let us use the sleep method thread.sleep, and then I don't want it to be inactive for a long time, so let us say I will pass 500 inside it, that is 0.5 seconds. 1000 means 1 second, so thread.sleep, and then let us pass 500 only, so 500, and then we have made try. So let us make catch now. So first of all let us go inside, and then we will write catch. Okay, catch, and then interrupted exception even, interrupted exception I and E should be capital, and then system.out.println child thread interrupted. So system.out.println child thread interrupted. Child thread interrupted. Now I have to make the main, so class p2, and then inside that I will make a public static void main. So class p2, okay, public static void main, static void main, and then inside string args. Okay, now I'll start the void main body. So we just write the closing bracket and then system dot out dot println and then current thread, and I will directly print the details of the main from the thread dot current thread method. So current thread equals to thread dot current thread. We can't directly use current thread over here, so now we have to close this, and then let us make an thread object and then start it by just calling the start method. So let us have sub2 thread s1 as object and then equals to new sub2 thread. So new sub2 thread. Then now I have to write the try and catch over here, because the main thread would be running over here only. Now let us write try. I will be printing thread and then 1 2 3 4, thread 1, thread 2, thread 3, and let us just copy paste from the above part. So for in place of child thread I will be writing main thread, and then okay, so in place of child I will just have to write main, and let us say child was sleeping for 500 means 0.5 seconds, so I will make the parent sleep for 1 second, so I will write in place of 500 I will write 1000. Okay, and then for loop is closed and then try is also closed, so I will write catch over here, then interrupted exception, and then main thread interrupted. So let me just copy paste from above. I think we wrote it earlier, so let's just me do this. Okay, and then catch, and then void means bracket. We have already written that, so copy paste this only, and then in place of child I will only write main thread interrupted. So let us save this. Let me just write m1 in place of e1 over here, and then java p2 java c p2 dot java. Okay, means one bracket closed is remaining. So let us see, this was for try, and then try was closed, catch is closed. Yeah, we wrote one extra, so java c p2 dot java. Okay, let us correct it. Oh, we forgot to initialize the int I, so let us just write it down. So p2, then I will write int before I in both the for loops, because we copied this from the above one. So int I. Now it should not be giving me an error, so let us run this now. Java c p2 dot java. Okay, no error. So java and then file name. Okay, java and then p2 here. two classes are made. That is one of P2 of main one, and then sub 2 thread, the other thread that we created. Now let us run this. Java P2. Then here is the output. Okay. First of all, it was main, 5 priority of main group. Then sub 2 thread name with 5 priority and main subgroup. And then and we got the output of the for loop. It can be different for different PCs. So here is one of the outputs. Now let us proceed to the p3.java. So how to create multiple threads by implementing Runnable, which is another easiest way of creating threads, and it contains abstract method. If the class is intended to be executed as a thread, then we can achieve this by implementing Runnable interface. First step is to write the void run inside the class that is implementing the Runnable, and then we just have to start it by calling the start method. So class sub3 thread implements Runnable and then public void run inside it, and then I will write try inside and for loop, and then we will print the thread info. Or we can just write thread child thread 1 child thread 2 just like that, and we will make it sleep for 0.5 seconds so that we will easily get the output. So public void run, and then in try we will write for int I equals to, let us say, 0, then I less than equal to 5, then I plus plus. So for printing it 5 times, let us just change this 1 so that it will be printing child thread 1 child thread 2 just like that, and then system.out.println child thread plus I. So I'm going to write it down, system.out.println child thread plus I. Plus I, then semicolon. Now I have to, let us say, let it sleep for 0.5 seconds. So I'll pass 500 inside this. So let us change it 500. Okay. Now we have to write the catch to catch the interrupted exception. So catch interrupted exception. You have to focus that interrupted and exceptions I and E should be capital. Okay, now inside this I will print system.out.println and then child thread interrupted. So I'm going to write system.out.println. Okay, now child thread interrupted. Thread interrupted. We have already closed the catch, public void run also, and then class sub3 thread also. So I'm going to write class p3, then we will write public static void main string args, and then first of all we will print the current threads info. So I'll be writing sub2 thread s2 equals to new sub2 thread, and then I'll create an object of the thread, that is thread t2 equals to new thread, and then in the parameters I'll pass that s2 from above and then name as sub2 thread. So let me just print the data. So thread.current thread, and then method, and then system.out.println close, and then let us make the object sub2 thread s2 equals to new sub2 thread. Okay, and then new like thread t1 or t2 equals to s2 comma sub2 thread. So now we have to print the child threads details. Okay, now thread t1 dot start. We have to start the thread now, and then try, close the try, and then catch, open and close. Okay, so first of all let us make for loop in the try. Let us just copy from the above part. So first of all, let us close the catch and let us remove these spacings. Okay, now let us copy from the above part. So let us go above, selecting the for loop and the exception, placing child with main and then 1000 for 1 second and then main thread interrupted over here. So let us just write main over here. Now let us try to run this. Okay, so let us correct the errors now. So first of all, I'll close the try. Now it should be running. Okay. One more bracket somewhere. Oh, above. So try close over here. Now let us try to run this. Now it should be running. Okay. So error at T1 not start. So let's check what happened here. So thread S2 and then S2 over here also. Now T S2 dot start. Okay, now it should be running now. Okay, Java C. Okay, thread S2 equals to new thread S2 comma sub2 thread T2 and then T2 over here also. Okay, now it should be running. Yeah, no errors now. The new class has been created. Now let us run this. Okay, so Java and then program name, that is P3. So here is the output. Okay, let us go to the next one, that is program to solve producer consumer problem, in which a producer produces a value and consumer consumes the value before producer generate the next value using thread synchronization wait and notify. So first of all, we will write the import java util.linklist because we are gonna use linked list now. So then public class thread for example, and then start, and then public static void main string args throws interrupted exception. Okay, and then bracket open final pc class that will be having my produce function and consume function. So let us write final pc. So that the final keyword is a non-access modifier used for classes, attributes and methods, which makes them non-changeable, means impossible to inherit or override. So let me just write the comment that object of class that has both produce and consume, so that it will be easier for me to understand what is PC. And then let us write thread T41 means for P4 the first thread of produce, and then for consumer we will create another thread. So new runnable and then override. So @override means the child class method is overriding the parent class method. So public void run and then try pc.produce. I will call the function and then close, and in catch interrupted exception of like unable to produce, or I can write anything I want. Let me just write e.print stack trace tool to like handle the errors and exception. So let me write the comment above. Afterwards, let me just close this. Yeah, this is closed. So I will now make a consumer thread. Now writing a comment producer thread, and then let us copy this part. So consumer thread, and then we'll copy the above part, new runnable, and then we'll make changes inside it, override, and then I will call the consume, and then oh yeah, same only. Okay, now we will start both the threads. So what we'll do is t41.start and t42.start for the producer and then consumer. Okay, now t1 will finish before t2, so what I have to do is I will write t1.join, which will make my this thread wait for the other thread to complete it. Here I made a mistake. Instead of p4 I wrote thread for example, so I'm going to write P4. Now it is closed over here, so let us start the consumer and producer function. So a class to have a list, and then producer will add items in it, and then consumer will use it, or like we can say delete the items, or remove the items. So public static class PC, which will be containing linked list first of all, integer, and list equals to new linked list, and then let us say capacity as two items only, and then function for producer thread. So first of all, let us write int capacity equals to 2, and then a function for the producer thread. So function for producer thread, and then public void produce, which throws interrupted exception. Produce throws interrupted exception, and then first of all it will be having value as 0, then while true, then synchronized, and this class or object we can say. So synchronize this, and then producer will wait if the consumer has finished or not, means for the consumer to consume the products. So while true, and then synchronized this, then producer will wait if the item list is full so that consumer can start consuming. So synchronize this, and then open. Let me write a comment over here only. So producer will wait while item list is full, and then while list size double equals to capacity, it has to wait, it has to go to the waiting state, and then system.out.println producer produced the values. So let us write this: producer will wait if item list is full so that consumer can start consuming. I have used synchronized method because this will make only one thread accessible to the shareable data, means only one thread will be able to access the data at a time. So while list size is equal to the capacity, then it has to wait, and system.out.println producer produced, and then values. Produced and then values. Produced, that is right, hyphen colon plus values. So bracket close, semicolon, and then to insert the jobs in the list, means to insert the items. So let me just write to insert the jobs in the list. Then I will write list.add and then value plus plus, so that the current values data will be added to the list, and then value will be incremented, and then next item will be added to the list also. So list.add value plus plus, and then now we have to notify the consumer that it can start consuming after this. So what I have to write is I will use the method notify, and then thread will wait a bit, so let us say 0.5 seconds. So I will write notify and then thread dot sleep. So first of all, let me write the comments. Now notify the consumer that it can start consuming, and then notify okay colon, and then now the thread will wait for a while. So let us say thread will wait a bit, so 0.5 seconds. So I will write thread.sleep and then 500 inside it. So let us write the comment first, afterwards, that is 500 for 0.5 seconds. Let me write the comment only above. So thread will wait a bit, so 0.5 seconds. Writing comment, thread will wait a bit for like 0.5 seconds. So 0.5, let me write it down only, so seconds, and then I will close the synchronized part, and then I will close the true while, and then I will close the produce. So I will close the synchronize now. Okay, and then closing for the while. Okay, now let me just copy paste from the above part, because maximum of this is I think same. So bracket close for the produce. Now let me copy from this till the closing of produce, and then we will make changes inside that. So we have like copied this now. First of all, I will replace this by consume now. So first of all, consume public void consume throws interrupted exception, and then I don't want value over here, so I'm gonna remove this. Okay, now synchronized, I want the synchronized part, and then producer will wait while item list is full. We have to remove this, and we will say consumer will wait while item list is empty. Will wait while item list is empty. So while we have to compare it with 0 now, because earlier it was equal to the capacity. Now we have to compare it with 0, and then to retrieve the first job in the list. So int val equals to list dot remove first, means the first item would be removed first. So to retrieve the first job in the list, retrieve the first job in the list, first the, now I will write int val equals to list dot remove first, so that the first element would be removed. So int val equals to list dot remove first, and we have to write first F capital, so close, and then I will write system dot out dot println consumer consumed, and then values. Okay, I have copied this now. Consumer consumed, and then plus val. So consumer consumed CONSUME, and then in place of plus values I will write plus val. So let me just write plus val over here. Now we have to notify the producer, then the consumer had consumed the items. So we have to notify and wake up the producer. So I'm just gonna write now notify the producer to wake up or to start producing. So I will just write wake up the producer, because it was waiting earlier. So now notify and wake up the producer, then thread will wait a bit, so let us say 1 second. So let me change this to 1000, and then in the comment section also, okay, 1 second. Now we have to close the P4 also. So let me just check the brackets. Okay. Now, okay, started, ended, started, ended, started, and then ended also. So, okay, okay. So I think this should be sufficient. Let us run this program now. So javac p4.java for the compilation. So javac.p4.java. Okay. I have to change the small l to capital L and change plus values to plus val. So let us change it. Let us go to the notepad first of all. Okay. So I have to change on line 66 values to val. Okay, here it is. So plus val over here, and then in place of small l I have to write capital L, and then the program would be error free, and then we'll go to the command prompt again. So let us go javac p4.java. Okay, no errors. Now let us run this. Here four classes has been made: p4.1, p4.2, p4.pc, and p4.class. So let us now run this. Okay, producer produced 0 1, and then consumed 0 1, 2 3, 2 3 4 5. These are the random numbers that would be produced. So output would be varying from computer to computer. Now I'll continue the next Java programs in the next video. So thank you guys for watching the video, and like, share, and subscribe the channel. Press Ctrl plus C to stop the execution in the command prompt.